Guys, first time we had a little technical problem. It's fixed. We back on. Catherine Nadal, a certified psychic.
Medium.
The terminology, psychic, certified psychic medium. Tell us what that means.
So I was certified by the Forever Family Foundation in Long Island, New York in 2013. And they have a very detailed process of certifying mediums. Literally, it's answering, your ability at whatever level you're at, and they take the highest level mediums. So right now in the Forever Family Foundation website, there's about 30 mediums right now.
I hear that we all have that capability of connecting to the other side. Would that be the right to connect with the spiritual world? What do you think about that? Possible?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that everyone has an individual level of connecting with their own intuition. And I think that's where it starts for a lot of people. They may not know if they can connect with the other side, but a lot of people get this gut feeling that they should do something or not do something, or something in a dream maybe reflected the night before, and they have a feeling or a hunch that something's going to happen during the day. So a lot of people identify with their intuition first, and then later, the more they pursue it, they could connect with the other side.
But Catherine is not just a psychic. She's also an author. She writes books. This is one of her books. This is the second book that has been published now, right?
Correct.
So what is this book about? I know, but for our audience, so they know what the book is about.
Oh, yes. So my first book was called Sing More Than Clouds in Your Coffee. And that was a book about reading Italian and Turkish coffee. It's something I did in my teenage years, which is a lot of fun. A lot of people are, curious about having a psychic reading, but when they look in a cup, they see an image. This book actually was inspired by a lot of people that follow me on social media. They kept asking, what is your life like? And we knew you were in the military. How could you be a psychic in the military? And we knew you were a nurse. And they just didn't know my whole life. So I decided to tell that story in the second book.
Talking about your whole life, when did you first felt that you had something that most of us don't have, or most of us don't realize we have it, or most of us don't even know how to connect with that? When did you came to terms with it?
Yeah.
And how was it?
So I talk about this in the first book, in Sing More Than Clouds in Your Coffee, but my dad took me fishing. And he and I used to fish all the time, and this one particular day he was teaching me how to do crabbing. And he threw the crab net in and he said, "Don't touch it." And he was a tall man. He started walking down the pier to talk to other kids on the dock. And I heard, pick it up, and it started to get louder. So as a little girl, I reached down and I pulled up the rope for the crab net. And it was the largest crab in that net that day. And all the little kids came running over, and the boys were like, "Oh," And my dad looked at me and he was like, "I told you not to pick it up." And I was like, "Yeah, but look at the crab." And I thought, I'm going to listen to that voice. And as I started to get older, that started to become more apparent. And I started to get a lot of information differently, like through my dreams or connecting with those that have passed on. It really grew with me.
Catherine, were you nervous? Were you afraid of the unknown? Because I'm sure that when you were a little girl and you felt that, did you know what's happening? Could you explain it to yourself? Were you afraid of it?
Yeah, I wasn't really afraid. I thought, first of all, I thought it was cool that I could get a really large crab. I thought that was really cool, but it made me pay attention. I thought, wow, that's interesting. And as I grew, I started to share stuff with my dad. And he was a very strict Roman Catholic, and he kind of shut that down. We don't do that.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Catholic, and because normally they don't...
Correct, yeah. And I talk about that in the book. His belief was very, very strong. But as I grew older, I realized that he was really interested in a lot of things, from Harry Houdini to listening to Coast to Coast and learning about the UFOs. And so as I got older, I had deeper conversations about it. And he was really interested in my work. He's the one that encouraged me to go over to Arthur Findlay and get tested in England.
Catherine, last time we met, pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
so it's longer than I thought it was. Pandemic was for the last 3 years. This happened before that, so at least 4 years. That,
Maybe.
give it a take. You did a reading for me. And I still talk to my friends about that reading, that reading. Some were amazed. I think some of my friends actually called you.
Oh, yeah.
They actually called you. And some people are asking me, if I want to do it, how do I reach out to Catherine? How does this work? So maybe early on in the interview, we can explain the audience. How can they reach out to you? We're going to repeat this later, for those that are joining the interview later. But how can they reach you?
Yeah, since the pandemic, I've done all my readings on Zoom. So if they go to the website, which is dreamcentralstation.com, they can select a reading, and on that reading, it'll actually give you an invitation to a Zoom link. And they don't have to worry if they don't want to be on camera. They can dial in with Zoom. They can be on a telephone. They don't need a computer. And it gets recorded. And then I send them the reading. I send them the recording. And all the clients love that. They love getting that recording so that they can listen to it a second or third time.
So, but how does it work? Let's say mom passed, father passed, and I want a reading, or I want to connect with mom or dad. Do we choose who we want to connect to, or is it something that we have no control of who is on the other side?
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because on my website I'm very strict. I don't want to know any information ahead of time. I want to know nothing ahead of time. And when I could do it over the phone, just listening to their voice, or they can be on Zoom, but I bring through whoever steps forward. So, and I always explain that to people, because everyone has like, a top 5, or, they have people in their kind of favorite order, and it doesn't always work that way. I try to get to as many spirits as possible, but sometimes there's a spirit that comes through really strong. They have a message. And a lot of times in reflective, the client realizes why that person came through first or talked the longest. Yeah.
Okay. But normally, how does that happen? Well, let me see how I can phrase that question. This strong spirit with the message. Normally, do we know that strong spirit is somebody who we were connected with when he was on this earth? Or it could be anyone with the message to us?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. No, not the way I work. Everyone that I bring through knows you. So a lot of times if you say, well, I bring through your grandfather. Well, I was just a little boy when he passed away. Yeah, but he met you, and he knew your father, and he knew your mother, and he knew your whole family. So sometimes clients can't validate the information, but they share that with their family members, and then their other family members validate the information. It's all about, when we say certified medium, it's about evidential information. It has to be true to your family member, either cause of passing, work history, nicknames, real names, hobbies, and sometimes like full sentences, like conversation stuff that I get.
There is certain things that I'm very passionate about, that maybe there is a light out there that I have never met, that maybe passed long before I was even born, but believes in my passion. Might have a message for me. Maybe wants to tell me, Rule, I know you're doing this, but whatever, blah, blah. Is it that possible? Somebody who does not know me?
It may be possible for another medium, but it's never happened to me.
No?
Yeah, it's never happened to me. I read for people that are very well known, and sometimes in a reading I'll mention someone, a famous person, and I'll say, oh, they're talking about this person. Did you know them? And the chances are they did know them, And that person may be passed too, but I just don't randomly pull in, spirits that are just hanging around.
So you pull the spirit, or the spirit uses you?
They present themselves to me, and I see them, which means I'm clairvoyant, and then I hear them, which means I'm clairaudient. So they're in my presence. And sometimes when I have two of them going back and forth, one of them will pull me towards them more. And I'll say, I'm sorry, they really want to talk about this now. And literally on the Zoom camera, they could see my head kind of being pulled a little bit, because it's like being in a crowded restaurant with everyone talking and somebody keeps calling your name. You're going to be like, okay, I got to talk with them over here now. Yeah, it's interesting.
Catherine, I strongly believe there is something out there. I was raised in a family that believed in mediums, psychics. Back in those days, we did not have certified psychics. People were just psychics, okay? And I grew up with that in that environment. But there is people out there say, "Ruth, you crazy. That doesn't exist. It's here. Once we're done, we're done. There is no talking back and forth." What do you tell them?
Well, I mean, most people that do what I do are aware of skeptics. You know, that person is skeptic. Some people are willing to have a reading. They're called a healthy skeptic. They'll say, you know, my wife or my girlfriend or my friend bought me this reading and I'm open to information, which is good. Some of them walk away a little bit more enlightened, but I'm not really there to force anything on anyone. It has to really resonate with them. It has to be their experience. I really believe in that. It's not for everyone, you know, and I tell that to people. That's why in the beginning of my reading, I talk and I say within the first 7 to 10 minutes, if I'm not making a connection with you, I stop the reading and I reimburse you. I'm not going to go a half an hour, a whole hour, and you say I have no idea what she was talking about. Yeah, I just don't do it.
Look, I have somebody who's watching, which is a dear friend of mine.
Okay.
And I'm sure she might not ask, but I know she's thinking of it because I know her. Her name is Lorraine Lopez. Dear friend, hi Lorraine, thank you for watching. Lorraine might be thinking, can she connect to one of my loved ones that just passed away? I don't know how does that work. Does the person has to be present? Can you connect? Do you feel anything towards her? How does that work? Because I know there is a process.
Oh, there is. I've done a lot of radio shows. I've done in-person events, and I do Zoom. I really need to hear the person's voice. Hello, yes, no, that kind of a thing. Yeah, so it's hard for you to say, can you pull her through? I need to kind of talk to her personally, one-on-one maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the day that you did the reading on me, I was there with you.
Oh, in person, yeah,
remember?
Sure, yeah. I think your son was with you too, wasn't
yes,
it your son?
Yes.
And I gave him information too, yeah.
So Lorraine, maybe this is something that maybe you and I might want to organize and then invite Catherine to Yonkers. Like here, we get a whole bunch of people that might be interested.
Sure.
You come over and you give a reading. Is this something that you would consider, Catherine?
Yeah, like a gallery reading.
Yes, a gallery.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
So, let's do it, Lorraine. Now, how does people take it when you give the message? Do people get emotional? What is most of the time, how is the reaction?
Yeah, reactions are mixed. A lot of times, sometimes when I read for someone who's had a person who has passed in a tragedy, and the details, sometimes what a spirit will bring through, it's not necessarily always the passing, but they might show me something that they had. You know, I read for people, a lot of young people are passing now, unfortunately, it's very, very sad. And I did a reading and I said, wow, I see your son, he's smiling, and he just threw his backpack on his shoulder and gave me a wave like that. And the minute I did that on camera, the tears were gone, because that was his thing. He always grabbed the backpack and did this half a wave and off he went.
There was an immediate connection.
Immediate, oh yeah. And that's exactly what I saw, so I just kind of did it. And every once in a while there's something very, very unusual about a reading or something that they show me. And sometimes they take me to the actual crime scene and they explain, you know, what was happening, like what happened in that accident or what happened in that tragedy. It's very hard to share that with people. I ask them, you know, if I see something, do you want me to tell you? And some people say yes, and a lot of times the family already know because they've sat with the police officers or they've sat with an investigator. They have some information. And that piece is important because I need them to validate in some way what I'm getting is correct. Yeah, it's very tough.
It's amazing, it's amazing.
It's very, very tough.
But do people feel at peace? Let's say I'm saddened, I lost a brother, a sister, mother, father. and I'm very upset, very sad.
Yeah.
After the reading, and that person manifests and talks to me, what's in the reaction in a way of, do I feel more at peace?
Yeah.
Do I feel more relaxed knowing that the person is watching and it's in a better place? What do the other people, the ones that are on the other side, tell us?
Yeah.
Relax, I'm okay. What is the...
I'm glad you said that, because that's really important. Most people feel relieved that their family member came through. A lot of people realize that they leave their spiritual body has moved on. Their physical body is staying here in earth. And the important part about it is that most people feel that they have a sense of peace. And some people still feel very heavy with the grief. And this past year, I actually was very aware of that. And I became certified as a grief educator through Dr. David Kessler. And he has a website called grief.com. And he did a lot of work recently with Lisa Marie Presley before she passed. They were good friends. And learning that grief education for myself, as a person who's lost people, myself and my family, it gave me a better understanding of the whole grief process. Seeing a medium is just one piece of that. You know, and I tell all the clients, don't use going to a medium as your grief therapy. You either need talk therapy or any kind of therapy you need, either from a grief educator or a counselor, but you can't use a psychic medium to get through your grief experience. It's got to be more than that.
So, Catherine, you are a certified psychic medium. You connect us with them. What is that to you? Are you at peace, ready to go? Because I'm afraid, because I don't know what's out there. Mm-hmm. You do know what's out there. You talk to those that are on the other side. What is death to you?
So death is just a transition. In my reading, one of the best pieces of doing my reading is the family members come through and they talk about something that's happening right now. They mention someone who's having a baby. They wouldn't have known that when they were physically here. And it just shows that proof that they're in the afterlife, but they're still seeing how our life is going on. So they haven't really left us. And when I get messages like that, like, oh, you're moved, or I keep hearing them talking about you're in another state now, you were never in that state before, and they said, oh yeah, after they passed, they moved to another state. And I said, see, they haven't left you. That piece of it is so kind of like peaceful to me as a medium, to know that we still see our loved ones even though we're now on the other side. And to answer your question, I don't want to die today, but I do know that I'm going to be with my friends and my family when I get to the other side, so I'm not afraid of that experience, but I don't want to leave today.
But you believe that once you're gone, once I'm gone, once Princess is gone, we will connect with those that
Correct.
we were here before. We will see our friends again.
Yes.
So, but you're not afraid of death.
Not
You just don't
afraid.
want to go yet, but
Correct.
you're not afraid.
Yeah. Well, I was in Iraq, and I could have passed away 3 times in Iraq because it was a combat zone. So I'm very lucky to still be here, but I don't really want to go today. Yeah.
This is the right time for a shout out to my favorite pizzeria, debatable, but Giovanni is one of the top pizzerias in Yonkers. 25 Main Street in Yonkers, right at the corner of Main and Warburton. You can come over here for great food, great pizza. They deliver. You can also call, tell them what you want, and they will bring it to your house. You don't have to come down. Chicken Marshall, chicken turfs, whatever you fancy name, you tell Giovanni, he makes it happen. Don't forget, guys, we need to support our local businesses. Not but just saying support your local business, but by actually supporting your local businesses. How you do that? Pick up the phone, tick, 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 tick. Giovanni, send me 10 pizzas. This is my address. And Giovanni makes that magic happen. So don't forget, come on down, sit down. This is a beautiful restaurant, a whole bunch of tables, bring friends, small events like birthdays, weddings, this is the place to come, or just call and place your order. Don't forget, support your local business. This is what we do. This is how we act. We support them, and we make things happen. That was my shout out.
Very good.
And don't forget, guys, this is the type of interview that we wish you would share. The positive stuff, the interesting stuff, the things that we want to learn more about it. So this is it. Share it, make it go viral, share it on your page, ask your friends to share it on their pages, make it happen. What else? What else? Catherine, now let's talk a little bit about this book. Where can I get it? You know, do you have autograph? Oh,
There's photographs in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
photographs in the book. So it's to show you a little bit. I could show you the entire book, but guess what, guys? As we were saying, support our local businesses, our local authors, make it happen. Spread the news, spread the work, spread art. Let's help each other. How can we get the book?
So on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Author House, any of those.
How do you search? By
my
name, by author?
Yeah, by my name, the author, or you can do it by title, either one. The artwork on that has been done by Squidino, and Squidino is a kind of very well-known artist, and he's done work for Paul McCartney and Metallica. So the image on the front and the image on the back are both done by him. Yeah.
What's the next thing for you?
The next thing? That's interesting. I don't know what's the next thing.
Don't you get the message?
Yeah, I have a couple of things I'm working on. One of them is another book. I'm not really sure what that's gonna.
You get an inspiration for the books?
I actually do. Yeah, the coffee book actually came about in a very unique way. This book came through the clients that I was reading for. They didn't really know my life, and they just couldn't believe it when they said, "Oh, I didn't know you were in Iraq, and didn't know you were a nurse," and so they wanted to know my life. So that piece, I felt like I completed that. But there's probably one or two more books left in me, probably.
Iraq, nurses, war. I'm sure that many of our soldiers passed by the hospital where you were, and passed. Has any of those soldiers ever came to you from the spiritual world and then say, "I have a message for my mother"?
No, I haven't gotten that. No. When I have my own personal experiences, a lot of times it's in my dreams. And I dream of people I know, or I dream about situations that are going to happen. Like just before 9/11, I had, it was like a day or two before, I dreamt of like a very fiery experience. People were kind of like screaming, and I woke up not knowing what that was about. A lot of people that are, you know, like me, had a kind of 9/11 experience. They just didn't put the pieces together. But a lot of my dreams are very predictive. I just don't know exactly when they're going to happen or how it's going to come about. So I pay very close attention to my dreams. But no, I haven't had anyone that I've either taken care of, or sometimes I've had family members come to me in a dream, and I know that they're coming to me for someone else, like a message for someone else.
What does spiritual realm means? Guidance. Maybe I don't want to talk to somebody who
Correct.
passed, but maybe I want some guidance.
Yeah, so that would be a psychic reading, and I do a lot of those. Someone wants to know what's going on with their job, or what's going on with their relationship, or if they should move. That's just a psychic reading. Psychic readings are basically past, present, and future, and some people just aren't connected to the other side, or don't want to connect with the other side. So it gives them day-to-day guidance to help them make better decisions.
Catherine, I'm here talking to you. You can hear my voice.
I can hear your voice. Yeah, I can hear
Is
your
anyone
voice.
talking to you on your ear?
Oh, right now? I don't know. That's you bring for a spirit. You want me to?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
You want me to do a reading right here?
Yeah.
All right. You have to validate the information I give you. So if I give you information, I'm going to say, does this make sense? Say yes or no. can I do this with you? I always ask permission if
Yeah,
you're
you
interested in doing this. Okay. There's a man in spirit. I feel like he's connected on your father's side. Do you know your father's side well?
Yes, I do.
Because there's like a big attention to, I keep hearing brother, brother. So your father has a brother, is that correct?
Multiple.
Yeah, one of them is passed.
2 months ago.
Oh, wow, yeah, because he's coming through so strong. And I keep getting this feeling about someone's stomach, but it's like here in the living. It's like pay attention to someone's stomach that's here in the living. So
Maybe me, it's too big?
No, this would be more like someone's having trouble, like difficulty with their stomach area or maybe one of the organ areas in the stomach area.
My mother.
Oh, all right. And she's here in the living?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. There's a lot of attention to you with this man. So you would have been close to him, correct?
No.
It's interesting, you keep saying two. So you have a brother too?
No.
Who's the two? Who's the one of two?
No idea.
Was
My
your-
father has a brother who passed not long ago, 2 months ago.
Okay.
But I did not know him.
Okay. So who had the two children? Did your father have two children?
Yes. But,
So that's the two. Okay.
but me and my sister.
You and your sister are the two. Okay, so there's something about you and him. Do you have the same name?
Me and who?
The man
My
that's
uncle?
passed. Yeah.
No.
There's a connection between him and you, and I can't figure that. There's a connection between him and you, and I don't know what that is. What's the month of August? Who's got the birthday in August?
Well, I don't know if my uncle had it in August.
All right. Well,
I
yeah.
didn't know him too.
All right. Would someone here know about him or no?
No.
See, that's the piece that's hard in a reading. But I don't discount that because would your mom know anything about him?
Not much, no, not much.
Okay. All right. But it's interesting that he brings up your mom in a way. Do you know what I mean? So are you keeping an eye on mom or checking in on mom, that kind of a thing?
Really did not know much of my uncle. Did not know him personally.
Okay.
I know of his passing.
Who's the R name in the family?
Me.
Is there another R?
Not in the immediate family.
Okay. Because I keep getting a repeated name. I keep getting that same symbol for a repeated name. So who in the family has the same name?
All the brothers' name, they all start with an A.
Oh, with an A. All right. I keep saying another R. Who's like a Robert or something like that?
Rui, which is me, but...
Yeah, I just keep getting another R. Who is the Michael or a name like Michael?
Michael is my son.
Okay, all right. There's a J too. Who's the first name with a J?
No.
When you go to your mother's side?
No.
All right. So if I was doing a reading with you on Zoom, the stuff that doesn't make sense, I always tell them to put that like in a separate column. I've had so many emails where the person was adamant, I don't know what you're talking about, and then I get an email they checked with somebody else.
And then you...
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that first reading that we had, you were, I would say 90%.
Wow.
Okay. I was amazed. I told my son, he wanted to meet you. So guys, if you want to meet Catherine Nadal, so Catherine, let's repeat how again?
Oh, yeah. So my website is www.dreamcentralstation.com. My Instagram is CatRichNYC. I have Facebook, Dream Central Station. My books are on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
So guys, thank you for watching. Catherine, is there anything that you want to bring up? Anything that you feel that you want to tell our audience?
No, I thought it was very good. Thank you again.
If they want to reach you for a gather, maybe a living room, get together with family, are you available for that as well?
I haven't done a lot of that because of COVID, but I would do like a gallery if you were setting it up or something like that.
Yeah, well,
I don't do a lot of private home stuff at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
all on Zoom.
Lorraine already answered. She said she's in it. So we're going to try to
Okay.
organize something here in Yonkers,
All right, good.
maybe here, and do something like that, you know, and a reading or and invite you to come over. So guys, thank you for watching. Yonkers Voice, it's always here to bring things to you that we feel out of interest, some things that are fun, things that can inform us, things that can motivate us for the best. So thank you, Catherine. And
Thank you.
hopefully you're going to come here on Yonkers Voice more often, not every 4 years, maybe every year we have something getting, something here on Yonkers Voice. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to share this interview. And don't forget that if you're talking to somebody and the person talks about, I would like to have a reading, speak with a psychic, certified psychic, because there is a lot of people that they call themselves psychics, but they are not certified, okay? I'm not saying they're not, but they're not, you know what I mean. You are certified by a board, I assume, right? It's a board that's...
By the foundation.
By the foundation. Yeah. Remember, Catherine Nadal. Reach out to her, contact her, give their name, that website, and let's support. Catherine,
Thank you.
Thank you, and until next time.